Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Wilds War Cry. I'm your host, Stephen Wilds. There's a lot to go over this week, and I had some stuff I actually wanted to say about SmackDown because I thought it was a really good program. And there was a little bit to talk about with TNA, but not very much. Not enough that was worth not kind of focusing and concentrating on something I think is a big issue for pretty much everyone this week, and that is WWE's decision to strip Daniel Bryan of the World Heavyweight title. I'm going to be a person that says this. I will not be the first person that says this. In fact, this is not the first time I've said this, but as much of a Daniel Bryan fan as I am completely okay with them stripping him of the title. I know that apparently for whatever reason, there are some people that think that they should have left the belt on him, and the problem is that if you don't know a return date, if a worker is injured, it's not best for business to keep the title on him. And I agree with that. And I know they've done that in the past. I know there have been times where, there are people, there was no one else to put the belt on, or they didn't need to, get rid of the belt. But with the situation that WWE is in right now, especially with the timing, I still think this is the best decision they've made, or that they could have made in this situation. Does it suck? Hell yes, it sucks. I can't even begin to tell you how bad this looks, and all the naysayers that, actually weren't behind Daniel Bryan. They have so much fuel on the fire now. But the truth is, he had some good matches. He proved that he could do some stuff. And my hope is that he'll heal correctly. He'll have enough time to heal well, and he'll come back and he'll do it again, because he's proven he can do it. It's actually kind of a good idea in a way, because when he does come back, he will be an undefeated champion. He was never pinned for the title. So whoever the new champion is, it'll make for a good storyline if WWE, pushes it correctly. Will they? I have no clue. I can't predict the future. There's a lot of room for error there. I agree with that. However, I think this is a good idea. Some people still, for some reason, seem to want them to split the belts back up again. And I agree. I don't remember who said it, but, as long as the champions still keep walking around with two individual belts and not one belt, fans are still going to have this idea that, they're just waiting to split the belts again. So this would be the perfect opportunity to do that. You have someone win at Money in the Bank, or you go down the line, depending on how long it takes Daniel Bryan to come back, and you have him come back and claim to be the champion. And either they use that plot line to split the belts, or you have, you don't need to do it. You could just have a plot line with these two facing off against each other, and it could be really good. I know at one point there was a rumor that they wanted Daniel Bryan to lose the belt anyway to Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, and that fits in with a lot of stuff I had heard. So let's say, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but let's say WWE decides to pull out all the stops. They want to really make Summer big. So they want a good Money in the Bank event, and then they want an even better SummerSlam event. You bring in Brock Lesnar. You have him be the last entrant in the Money in the Bank match, and you have him win. This could be used to turn Cesaro face. This could be used to do a lot of other small things that set up possibilities just in case Daniel Bryan's not ready. But if he is ready, you have him come back and you have Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. And some people are going to, of course, say that Daniel Bryan, it's not believable for him to go up against Brock Lesnar, but it's wrestling, so that they'll make it work. If they want it to work, they'll make it work. I for one, actually, I'm looking forward to Money in the Bank. The people in it so far are Randy Orton, Alberto Del Rio, Cesaro, Sheamus, and as of this recording, just found out that Bray Wyatt is actually in the match, which that's a good lineup. Cesaro and Bray Wyatt are obviously my two favorites so far, but I'm liking where this is going. I will say there need to be two matches. There needs to be a Money in the Bank match to determine who the champion is, and there needs to be a second Money in the Bank match that sets up a contract. Because if you don't have a contract, I think it will make it where the contract will kind of lose its flavor a little bit. They've already been kind of weakening a little bit because you've had two people now cash in their contracts and lose. And honestly, the last few people that have, cashed in and won haven't gone on to be long-standing champions. So I don't know. I'd really like to see 2 Money in the Bank matches, and I would like to see one for the title, one for the contract. I'd like to give the contract to Cesaro, maybe even to Wyatt, and then have, when he does finally cash in, whoever it's against, I would like him to have a good long run. Put some validity back behind that. The honest truth is that they have so much potential here. Even though it's unfortunate that this happened with Bryan, I know this has derailed their plans some. There's a lot of potential here, and WWE really needs to kind of, beat their riders over the head and get them cracking on what could be done. Lesnar could be an amazing surprise last person. There are usually 7 people in these matches, sometimes 8. Right now there are only 5 slots filled, so he could easily, be put in as the last person. I would almost say you have the opportunity for a few returning people. However, most of the people who I think would return and actually do it, and it would make sense, I don't know. I wouldn't really want it right now. Though if Jericho shows back up, I will totally pop for that, because that'd be really good. Other than that, I think the biggest thing I wanted to touch on with the stuff with the Shield, with Seth turning, people talking about adding members to the Shield, all that. I've been enjoying it. This is their big thing they want to do over the summer. They're trying to build up for SummerSlam. This is the big revenge plot for the summer. Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns are going to need to get revenge on Seth Rollins. It's going to happen. It's going to be a major payoff, assuming they do it right. But I couldn't think of anyone that they would add to the Shield that I would just really be excited for. And to me, you already took the first step. So I think after this plotline's done, if they can't think of something better, and they might, I'm not saying it can't happen, they should go ahead and disband the Shield. Just have it gone for good. The only problem I have with that is, unfortunately, there are only so many top spots. And with the Shield being, in the main event, you had 3 guys that you could insert as one unit, and that was a little tricky in its own right, but it brought all 3 people to the dance. So you got Roman Reigns, who, they're going to skyrocket him. It's going to happen. And now it seems like they've kind of selected Seth Rollins, and I'm afraid that's going to leave Dean Ambrose out in the cold. And I hope that doesn't happen. Ambrose is a really good worker. He's amazing in some parts. He's so good on the mic, and he plays crazy so well. He does crazy the way I like to see crazy done. But the other thing that I will comment on and kind of leave with is I know they want to build Cesaro, and I know that they're currently have him doing this thing with kind of going back and forth with Sheamus and then with RVD. I think you can push him past that. I really, really think the best idea would be to have him win Money in the Bank. And the problem is that might be a little bit predictable now. But sometimes predictable isn't bad, especially if it's a really good match. I'm actually a little curious to see what they do with Wade Barrett. I expected him to beat out Sheamus to get into this match. But, that's one of the other things. So far, we have 4 heels, with Sheamus being the only face in the match so far. So I'm interested to see where it goes. I'm interested to see what they do with the Shield, with Evolution, or whatever we're calling this new faction, with Seth Rollins added in while Batista is gone. With them having the 3 onto advantage, I'm just curious to see what they do. And I don't think they're going to permanently add Cena, for anybody who's worried about that. I didn't mind Cena stepping in on Monday, as long as they don't make it a normal thing. I don't care. So many people just bitching about them using Cena. You know what? It made sense. It made sense the Wyatt and the Evolution versus Shield storylines were going to collide eventually. And they did in that. It kind of switched things up too. Gave it some variance. And now if they want to keep Wyatt and John Cena going, and if they want to keep Shield and Evolution going past this next, big pay-per-view or big moment, it's not going to be a stale now. It added a little bit more to it. So, I don't know why people complain about that kind of stuff. They do. It just happens. Anyway, I really hope Daniel Bryan heals well. I hope he heals quickly. I hope he's back by either, hopefully SummerSlam. But we'll see. We'll just have to see how that goes. But I really hope, I've enjoyed his run. It was brief, but man, was it fun. So we'll see what WWE does with him when he comes back. I think my question, for everybody for this week is, I've kind of racked my brain thinking about which person joined the Shield, which person would actually want to see in there the most. And I've come up with some pretty crazy ideas. Like, seriously, at one point, I thought about Drew McIntyre. I know you're going to think I'm crazy, but Drew McIntyre's a really good worker. And I think he would fit in, going back to kind of his older character before this 3MB bullshit. So my question to everybody this week is, who is somebody kind of out of the ordinary that you wouldn't think of, but actually might fit well into the Shield? If you have any comments or questions about anything I've said today, you can leave it here in this YouTube channel. Or, you can find me on Twitter at Stephen Wilds. I'm always up for a good wrestling conversation there, or whatever you want to do. But until next time, this has been the Wilds War Cry.